Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Card Maker Success Summit. We are about to do another live stream with a sponsor, KB Riley, Karen Bernstein. Can't wait to get her on board. All right, let's take a little quick look, I should say, at what, oops, I'm sorry. Hold on one second. I lost it. There we go. What KB Riley has to say.
If you like pop-up cards, then we definitely invite you to check out our website, KarenBerniston.com. Our crafting dies do all of the hard work for you, and you can spend your time creating these amazing interactive cards to delight anyone who receives them. We have YouTube video instructions to help you through the assembly of both our pop-up dies and all of our decorator dies. With over 65 different pop-up dies to choose from, there is definitely something for everyone, so we invite you to check it out, KarenBerniston.com.
All right. Well, without further ado, we're going to bring Karen on. Hello, Karen.
Hey, Brandy.
So excited to have you back again.
I'm excited to be here. We had a lot of fun last time.
Every time I see that commercial and I see those pop-up snowball dies, it just makes me giggle. I don't know if you remember, I was having such a fun time with that last time. So I hope you show that again today.
I have all sorts of things to show. So I'm going to do a demo, and then my whole back wall is just filled with cards. So
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get into the project, though, we do have a promo that we are scrolling across. Pop-up 20. Now you guys know that when we do these live streams, the sponsors usually sell out of whatever they're showing. So be sure to go to that link, which is scrolling at the bottom, cardmakersuccesssummit.com/KB Riley. Put that on one side and put the live stream on the other, because you know you're going to want to shop and you're going to want to take advantage of that promo code so you can get it before they sell out. All right, Karen, I'm going to scooch out, go backstage, and let you have the stage for yourself so you can show us what you're going to make.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm excited to be here. I'm actually going to switch and put myself just up in the corner. And so that I can show you all sorts of cool cards at the end, I want to kind of dive into the demo that I'm going to be doing today. So we're going to focus on one of our newest rubber band powered pop-ups, and that's our little BAM box. And it is so, this is the little BAM box, and it is so named because it just kind of goes BAM and pops up whatever you put in a card. So in this case, we're going to make a cute little birthday card on the demo today. And by the use of that rubber band pop-up, then it's going to pop up that, little birthday cake. And of course, because that's powered by a rubber band, you can actually put that anywhere in the card, which makes that a really versatile little die, and it's so generic. So this one is one of our newest dies, die number 1222 BAM box pop-up. And what's cool about it is it actually comes with 2 of the BAM boxes. It's one that you often will use doubled in a card. I think you guys saw on the commercial ahead of time that there was a couple, where you might put a couple in a card. So by having 2 in the set, you can cut twice as fast. Then it comes with little decorator rectangles to be able to put those, decorator on the outside, which is optional, but add some coolness. And then you get this little set of nested little octagonal label dies. So that's a really good shape. I like that shape. It's unusual, and you'll have those to use whether or not you're using it with this set. So that is something that we think is important with our pop-up dies. We think dies are an investment. We think they're a timeless tool, and we think that you've got to be able to buy one die set and make a cool card. So we try to include decorator pieces with our pop-ups so that if that's all you can get, then you have everything you need to make a cool card. You even get that little decorative heart in this set. Okay, but we're going to, of course, try and show you how everything works together. And then as we release new dies, they always build on what came before. And that's something that I really wanted to illustrate in today's demo. So one of, you can go by the number 1118. This one's quite a long time ago. Our flap and closure die set. This is a great little die set for making those string closures. And anytime you're making a rubber band pop-up, and we have several different styles of rubber band pop-up, then it's a great idea to trap your card closed. Not that you couldn't just let it come out of the envelope and pop right open, then you could do that too. But if you want to have that kind of hidden reveal, where they have to work for it, I guess, so to speak, then using something like a string closure is a great way to do that. So we will use our flap and closure die set. Then for decorator dies, we're a die cutting company. We're not a stamp company, we're a die cutting company. Now, can you use your BAM box to pop up your favorite stamped images? Absolutely. So many people do that. We love all the stamps from all those other companies that will work great on this foundation. But we're a die company. So we do all of our decorator pieces as dies. And one style we have is our charm sets. So with our charm sets, they're kind of double duty decoration. Because we do pop-ups, we like to include little holes on them to where you can dangle them off of our pop-ups. So I'll show you some cards where you've used them as charms. But then I also try to design them so that the charm hole is removable, so that when you want to just use them, for instance, as a standalone cake, like we'll do today, you can just easily take your scissors and trim off that hole. So it's just a matter of having more versatile options. A lot of our die sets are charms, and that's all it means, is that it's got the ability to dangle off of a pop-up or something if you wanted to. And then our word sets. So word set 2 here, we're all the way up to word set 16 now. But then we also have big words that are kind of sold separately and everything like that. So this is probably one of our best-selling sets, our word set 2 birthday. What's nice about them is it's just a fun little font that carries through all those other word sets. So if you get other word sets that are labeled word set 1, word set 2, word set 3, it'll be the same general size and font. So you are able to make new greetings if you have more than one. And so this one comes with happy birthday to you, make a wish and celebrate. One of the nice things about those little small word sets is that we do connect the dots, so to speak. So your exclamation points and your eyes and stuff, the dots are connected, and you don't have to try and find them and, glue them back on separately. So we'll use that set today. So those are the 4 dies that we're using to make this little card. You're always in charge of your card size with our dies. And so for this one, I actually chose to make it a little bit smaller than an A2 size because this flap is 5 inches tall. So I decided to make my card 4 1/4, which is what an A2 size card would be. But then instead of doing 5 1/2, I just did 5. So I'll still use an A2 envelope. Grabbed one and then lost it there. So I'll still mail that in an A2 envelope. It's just going to be 5 inches instead of 5.5. Okay, let's get started. All right, so in the interest of time, I pre-cut a lot of the stuff, but I am going to show you on the BAM, the important part of the BAM box. I'm going to show you how that's die cut and put together. All right, here's my card. I like to use a heavier cardstock when I'm doing the rubber band pop-ups because they need some resistance to them. So I went ahead and started with a nice heavyweight cardstock. But even if I was using like an 80 pound, I would just put more pattern paper on it to strengthen it. But in this case, it's 100 pound. And I started with a piece 8 1/4 by 5, and then I scored it at that 4.5 inches. So what that means is that this side, when it folds over, comes a little short. This is just a 4-inch panel instead of 4 1/4. And that way, when I put my closure on, I'm not bunching that cardstock right underneath that flap. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the piece that I cut out of my flap enclosure die set. So when that die cut, it's got a decorative stitch line here, and it's got a decorative score line here. And I'm just going to work that score line. I love, I got one out. Don't fold with that. Since that's heavy cardstock, I'll just get a good fold on that. And then, I mean, I live in Texas, y'all. I'm in South Texas, Houston area. And when I tell you that there is not an adhesive that'll hold up to our adhesive, hold up to our humidity, I mean dry adhesive. Like I haven't found a tape runner or tape yet that holds up over time. But I'll tell you what glue does. So this is Lineco neutral pH adhesive, dries clear PVA glue. I put it in our fine tip bottles, which we sell on our website, and they are empty. But we also sell a little 4-ounce bottle of my favorite glue to fit them. And then to keep that glue flowing while I'm crafting, I put a damp paper towel in a jar. And that just does an amazing job of keeping that glue flowing. And as long as I come in every morning with my squirt bottle and I give that paper towel a squirt, then I don't even really have to cap this if I'm crafting every day. When I'm not crafting, then I go ahead and put the needle cap on. And what I'll do is I'll just pound it against the table, or even sometimes take my compressed air and try and shoot the glue so it gets out of that needle tip. But then you've got this other needle tips to go on the top. So that's my favorite glue. All right, so we're going to glue that flap behind here. And if you ask me questions in the chat, I will. I do have an assistant in the room to call out those questions to me. So feel free to ask questions, and I'll answer them as we go. All right, so let me take that off. So now I've got the structure of my card, but I'm trying to build a closure. There's my card. I'll keep that on the screen so you can see it. So I'm trying to build a string closure. So I want to put my decorative flap piece, which also comes in that die set. So that flap enclosure comes with the big stitched flap with the score line flap, and then it comes with the closure, or the decorative piece. And so I need to put that on first for the outside so that I can put my closure through the decorative piece as well. Now this pattern paper is an older Echo Park. I just chose something out of my stash that I had, and so it's just polka dots. But I feel like if you wanted to make this exact card, there are so many, I can't remember which piece goes where. I think this one looks like the right one for there. There are so many different polka dot or striped or, generic kind of pattern papers that you could use. Or if you're more of an inker or stamper person, you can even stamp your own background. Okay, so I'm going to put my pattern paper on the front 2 panels so that I can build that closure. And I don't want to do anything on the inside yet because I'm going to put brads through, and I want to be able to cover those on the inside. Okay, so the other 2 pieces in that flap enclosure die set are a set of spacers and a set of washers. So I love to cut the spacers out of a cardstock that has double-sided adhesive on the back. Now, I do this so often that I buy a big old giant roll of it. But you can also do it, where it's in the rolls and things. And what I do on that is I decide, let me grab my 2 washers that I've already pre-cut, and then I just went in the stash and found some matching brads. And you could use mini brads or you could use regular brads. It doesn't really matter. So I have to decide where I want that closure to be. And it looks like I spaced it out like this. So let me mark that. Is there a question?
Someone asking if you sell die presses.
Die presses?
Yeah.
Like the actual die cutting machine? I don't know if I know what a die press is. So I guess we don't sell it because I don't know what that is. Hang on, my pen didn't work. All right, I'm just going to mark a little through the hole here so I know where that closure needs to go. I don't know if I know what that is. So So after I've decided where my closure is going to go, I am going to put 3 of those spacers, and it cuts 6. So the other thing we try to do with our dies is we try to make them user friendly. So I'm always thinking like a teacher, I guess, because I teach a lot of classes, and you know, especially when I'm going through and making kits and things like that, I definitely appreciate if I only have to cut that die 1 time for each student instead of 6. So I'm just grabbing those spacers, stacking up 3, and I'm just using my finger to grab the little centers out of the middle.
The other thing about you having them in sets of 6 instead of 1 anyway, is that it's harder to lose that die if it's that small. So that's pretty cool.
That is great, Grant. That's a great point. And actually, that's especially true. She mentioned, you know, not losing the die, having the die be a little bigger. Another thing I like to do that makes things user friendly is this. You really see this in the little animal dies that we have. Is if I know that I like to separate dies by color when I'm doing little tiny pieces, right? So if I know that you're doing, say, a penguin, and your beak and your feet are usually both going to be orange, I'll put those 2 dies together on the same little die. It'll make the die a little bit bigger, so it's harder to lose. And it's just a little more user-friendly and paper-friendly, you know, because you have less paper waste. Okay, so I need to open this up. Let me find something to pierce into here and get holes for my brads to hold my closure on. So I'm going to open that up so that I don't go all the way through the whole card, but just through the front. And especially whichever side I want to put my twine through, I want to, you know, hollow that out a little bit. So that
do you sell that piercer as well?
I don't. Do you know, that is just a dental tool. That's one of my favorite paper piercers, is actually when I'm shopping, is look for something that's like a dental tool. They make great piercers. So that's what I use, but we don't. So if someone has maybe one of your other sponsors today sells a cool paper piercer. Okay, so I put my washer through with my brad on this side because that's not the side where I'm going to put the twine. I'm just using some baker's twine here. Now, if you don't have a needle threader handy, then the other thing you can do to make it easy to get through the holes, you can just put your glue out on the end of your twine and then just spin it between your fingers. And that makes it more of a needle tip. And then I like to get that through. And then I just kind of hold it to the inside because I know that paper is going to go there anyway. So I'm just holding a little tail while I put my other washer on with my brad. And then once my brad gets in, it's going to hold that twine down on the inside until I get the paper on. So, you know, you could glue it down, but you don't really have to. So, okay, that is how you could make a string closure. And that die set is independent of any pop-ups. You may just want to own a cool flap and closure die set. Maybe you don't want to make pop-ups. I mean, why not? Because they're so fun. But if you didn't, you could still, you know, that's just a good die if you just want to make closure envelopes and things. That's a great die for that. Okay, once I get my closure on, then I can actually put my decorator pieces inside the card. And, you know, cover up those brad prongs and things. So I've cut that decorator flap again. Let me get that on there. This is a great time for any questions. If anybody has any questions.
People in the chat have mostly been answering each other.
Oh, that's nice of you all. See, everybody's so nice. Let me tell you this while we're waiting. Speaking of people being nice to each other, if you are a Facebook user, we have a fan group that's called Karen Burniston Pop-Up Peeps. So you can just go on Facebook and search for that, Karen Burniston Pop-Up Peeps. And then we have people from all over the world because we do ship internationally. So there's people from all over the world in there. And when I say they are the nicest people, and they, you know, they'll help you out with anything related to the dies. I like to think that we have really good customer service. I know we do. Karina is who you would talk to if you ever called on the phone. And she's, everyone loves Karina. And then my business partner, Tanya, who runs our home office in Topeka, Kansas. And then Sue is our warehouse manager. And she's the one who will get these orders out for you. You'll be surprised how quickly you'll get a shipping notification because Sue is a rock star. And then we have some other people that help us. But we run a pretty small, we're a small size company. But anyway, on that Karen Burniston Pop-Up Peeps Facebook group is a great thing to join for more inspiration using our dies. And make sure you go through the what am I thinking? All the photographs, that people have posted. You can go into the albums and see all the things that people have made. All right, we're ready for a pop-up. I know that it took me a little while to get there, but let's talk about that Bambox pop-up die set. So like I said, it does come with 2 identical ones, so you can cut them 2 at a time. And we only need 1 for today, so I'm just going to put 1 in here. And you can use any die cutting machine that can accommodate a wafer thin die. So when I'm doing big dies, I almost always use my Spellbinders Platinum 6, but Big Shot, Gemini, all of your favorites. And then one of my favorites for small dies is this little Dress My Crafts Easy Cuts machine. And actually the Bambox will fit in that. So let me cut one of those just to show you that what it's going to do is cut and score. Now, does it have to be a specific type of cardstock? No. I mean, I'm always a fan with pop-ups to go with your mediums and heavyweights. So this one looks to be about an 80-pound cardstock. And apparently, probably because, sorry, my cutting pad didn't quite cover the end there. Probably because I wanted that specific gray and I only had it in a textured cardstock. I went ahead and cut this out of a textured cardstock. Normally I don't with pop-ups just because I like to be able to see the score lines. And you know how sometimes they get a little buried in texture, but these ones, you can see them. They're all real straight. So it doesn't much matter that that was textured. You will get confetti in your die where the holes are. It'll start grabbing your paper. Doesn't mean you have to empty it every time. If you were making kits or something, you could go through with your paper piercer and eject it after every couple. So you don't have to eject it every single time, but just use a pokey tool to eject your die when you're done. All right. I only needed 1. I just wanted to show you how I cut that. And you know what? While my die cutting machine is out, the only other thing I wanted to show die cutting wise was this little trick for birthday candles, which I love to do, which is I take a piece of cardstock out of the color that my candle flame would be, so yellow. And then I put 1 or 2 strips of washi tape, depending on the size of my candle die. And then when I cut the candles, so in this case, from our birthday charms, I'm going to use the little tiny candles in that set. So that cuts you 2 little small candles. If I will put that so that the flame is over the yellow and the body of the candle is over the washi tape section, then I'm going to get that 2-tone pattern candle in one pass. I don't have to cut it twice and cut the flame off the other one or whatever. So let me see if I can give a visual of that. I don't know if that's pretty cool. So that's just, I do that a lot for class kits. Those of you who are teachers, if you, because that cuts down your cutting too, because you can get all in one pass. Okay, so that was the only die cutting I was going to show. Everything else I've pre-cut because it's all pretty standard die cutting, but whatever machine you have. Okay, let's get to assembling this Bambox pop-up. So it has score lines. For the purposes of the video, I'm going to draw them in here through this line, right about right here, here, right here. Oh, sorry, I'm on camera. Here and here. Okay, and obviously they're straight. I just kind of sketched them on so you can see. So Bambox just has horizontal score lines, and almost all of them are mountains. You start at the top where the crescent is, and you go mountain, mountain, mountain. Okay, then you get to the only valley fold there is, which is right here, which valley means you're folding towards yourself, looking into the valley. Mountain means you're looking at the mountain at the top. So you get to it, so you go mountain, 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 then valley. That brings those 2 sets of holes together. And then mountain, mountain. So it's mountain, 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 valley, mountain, mountain. And then all we're going to do with this valley is seal it shut. It's a real simple little pop-up here. Okay, now it is ready for a rubber band. And you have choices there. Now, my favorite are these little small number 8 rubber bands. Now, if you think you're going to be making Bamboxes forever, you can actually go on Amazon and you can buy yourself an enormous box of number 8 firm stretch, number 8 advantage rubber bands. Okay. But lots of people don't want to own a giant box of rubber bands. So we sell these little baggies that have 50 of them on our website as well. So you can go just get a little 50 pack if you want. I love the number 8, but we have other rubber band pop-ups, which Brandy made mention of our ball dies. So our ball dies, make these little pop-up balls. We have those balls in 3 sizes. We have our mini ball, which is the tiny one, the bitty ball, which is the middle one, and then the surprise ball, which is the big one. So those they all use the same size rubber band. They use a number 12 soft stretch, and we do sell those on our website as well. I wanted for the people that bought a giant box of number 12s, when we came out with the band box, I wanted them to be able to use those number 12s and not have to buy number 8s if they didn't want to, or until they ran out of 12s. So you can absolutely assemble this band box with that number 12. But we're going to use the 8 today. So you would go to the assembly video if you want to know how to use the 12, because I show it both ways in the assembly video. Okay, we're going to use the 8 today because that's a little small one, my favorite. So I'm going to take that rubber band, I'm going to go around that shelf that I just sealed together and into those 2 sets of holes, which now line up over the top of each other. Okay, so I've just wrapped the rubber band around this little shelf here. Okay, get the kinks out of it there. All right, then I'm going to take that crescent end. I'm going to take this fold of the shelf and I'm going to go diagonally until it's just being held up underneath that crescent. See how that? So I'm basically making that as a diagonal and I'm just holding it in place. And while I hold it, I'm going to grab that rubber band and go around that crescent and into those holes at the base of that crescent. See what I did there? Okay, and that crescent is cut out only so you have access to the holes. So basically then it's just going to go right back where it started from. It's just going to, you're just going to press it till it's right back into its starting position. Then you can bring this side up and attach it to that side. Okay, so adhesive everywhere, including all over the crescent. We want to treat this as a single side now. And then we're going to bring that other side up and into that adhesive. And I like to, if you can get a pinky finger in there, you can pinch against your finger, or you can flatten it and give it a really good press in the flat position. But that is the band box. It's so simple. It's so little and mighty, small but mighty. You have a choice depending on the cardstock you used. If it feels pretty firm and you're planning on not seeing it, it's going to be hidden behind an embellishment. You don't even have to put decorator rectangles on it. But if you do plan to see a little bit of it, you do have that die in the set that will cut you. Where's my set? Here it is. That will cut you 2 rectangles. You could just cut through 2 layers and then you'll have 4. Is there a question?
Just a couple questions.
Oh, a couple questions.
Well,
Tell me.
Someone asked if you can use the number 8s on the snowballs.
No. Good question. That is an excellent question. So the question was, you can use the number 12s on the band box because you end up wrapping it around that little shelf twice. You cannot use those number 8s. They're way too small to use in any of those ball dies. So if you only want to buy one rubber band, buy the number 12s. If you have ball dies and you want to do the band box or the surprise cube, which is another rubber band pop-up we have, because you can use the 12s in everything, but the 8s you can only use in the band box and the surprise cube, which is a little bit bigger than the band box. But so that was an excellent question.
And then somebody asked what weight of cardstock is best for the band boxes and snowballs.
For the ball dies, I tend to use the heavyweight smooth, 100-pound for the ball dies. And then when you go to put your decorator dies on, you could use anything. But that cream cardstock that I cut that out of, that one's 100-pound smooth, or 110. You can always go heavier. For the band box, it's less because it's so small. It's less cards. I wouldn't do 65-pound. Let me put it that way. I would do a medium to a heavyweight cardstock on any of your rubber band pop-ups, and I would go the heaviest on the ball dies. And also, while I'm putting these, how am I doing the time? Let's see. Oh, are we almost down? We're almost out of time, y'all. Hang on. I'm gonna focus on getting this done because we only have 4 minutes. According to, do we have 5? You don't know. Brandy, do you? How much time do I have, Brandy? Brandy, are you there? Okay.
I'm still here. You're good.
I'm good. Okay.
You can go a minute or 2 over. We're fine.
Oh, look at me! I got special things. Okay. Well, mainly, even if I don't get all the decorating done, I have this one to show you kind of what I did. But I wanted to show how I would put that in the card. Okay. So the first thing I have to choose is which way do I want it to collapse? Do I want it to collapse to the back, or do I want it to collapse to the front? Because it does. You can only collapse it by pressing the opposite corners to where that crossbar is. Okay, you can't collapse it this way. You can only collapse it this way. But depending on how you glue it in your card is whether you can push it to the front to collapse it, or whether you're going to have them push it forward to collapse it. And that doesn't matter. And it can go anywhere in your card depending on what you are going to put on it. So in my case, you know, I'm going to put this decorative piece on it that has our birthday cake. So I've decided to put it closer to the front. Now, probably the best thing to do if I'd had time to put that all together is I would assemble, let's at least assemble the three. I won't have a birthday cake on it, but I tell you what, a 20-minute, 30-minute demo is so fast. I get to gabbing. Okay, let me just get a few of those little things labeled together or layered together. And then I want this to collapse to the back. So once you figure out, you put it in your card and you go, okay, I'm going to collapse it that way. Just put a big B so you never have to figure it out again. That's going to be the bottom of my thing. And I'm going to glue it here. Okay. And where, just so enough of it, it can be up, it can be down. It's just, you decide, you decide where it's going to go. And then I'm going to glue that. And, can it go at an angle? Sure. All you have to do is look at your closed position and keep it out of the folds when it's flat. But other than that, you can choose where it goes. So it looks like on this one, I went, how far back? Let's see. Oh, I went to where this was close to the top, giving me room for, decorations in front of it. But then there it is. And you can see, look how generic that is, y'all. It could be anything. Does it have to be a birthday card? No, it can be anything. It has no theme whatsoever. And like I said, the string closure is a great way. Could I put another one over here and flatten them and layer them over the top? Absolutely. Okay, I'm not going to spend the time decorating this card because I bet you want to see some other cards. I'm gonna make a executive decision. But I essentially, just to tell you, layered up my pieces that I cut out of my big birthday charms. That's where the cake came from. And I trimmed off the, the little charm hole. It comes with this cute little fork and it comes with this cute little streamer. So that's a great set, the big birthday charms, with or without adding them to pop-ups. Let me grab that. So you can make birthday present, you can make balloons, you can make a big birthday candle, and you also have the small candle to go on top of the cake. Okay. So that's what I did there. That's just more of the labels for you to sign the card. With the balloons that I cut out of this set, I just tied some strings to them and kind of tucked them behind the label there. And then I used that word set on some green cardstock so you could see it. And just, you can see probably the pretty simple decoration. Now, because I had a seam right here where I glued that flap on, I went ahead and put a piece of paper on the back. That's optional. But if you don't want to see that, if you don't want them to see how it was constructed, you can do that. On the front here, the birthday candle came out of those birthday charms, along with that streamer, more of the bandbox octagonals. And then on happy birthday, you can curve those words. They curve really nicely, so they're all connected together. But, you just, in your hands, kind of go through and curve them. And then you can make them fit something. And then on mine, I decided to put my other little candle, since there were two that were cut at the same time. I went right over the top of the eye so that it had the candle. Okay, so any questions on that card? I blazed through that, didn't I? Nope. Okay, cool. All right, so let's look at a few cards here. We'll start with the ones using the bandbox because that's what we were focusing on today. So this is the one from the assembly video. The other thing you can do with those octagonal labels that come in the set is you can make cool window cards. So in this case, and this has a magnet that under that ribbon. Inside that ribbon, there's a magnet hidden, and then I hid a magnet under the pattern paper that it just grabs. So this one's gatefold, and then through those, holes, you can see the decorations, and you can see those are put in at an angle. See how they're not straight? So you would put these in first. Well, I think this is actually shown in the assembly video. It shows the whole process for how you figure out where to make your holes and all that stuff. So that's a bandbox card. Here's one that I taught as a class. So again, we're not a stamp company, but I needed a good greeting to go with all of these sports charms we were using. So I just used the computer to write "have a ball on your birthday," and then we cut that out with one of those labels. But this one has a string closure where it's got our sports charms and then different things, and then pops up. And that's a good example of using those charms as charms. So you can see them dangling from the pop-up there. And pretty cool reveal on that one. So that one was one that we did last.
That almost looks like those games at the carnival where you're trying to put the basketball through the hoop or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. There's probably something to explore in that idea. I like that idea. But yeah, all sorts of ways. And I thought, well, wouldn't it look kind of cool like a baseball diamond, with the string closure? So we went around that way. So that was one that we did. This was one. There's a video on this one, kind of showing how you can use the BAM box on the back wall too to animate. So if you think about it, there's the BAM box right there behind the Happy Mother's Day, and then it's got these little hearts dangling down in front of our fireplace pop-up. So then it does have a closure because that BAM box will always pop up because of the rubber band. But in this case, just a little small magnetic flap. Okay. And then another way you can use the BAM box, I'm going to overwhelm you with ideas, but we have a tiny house pop-up, which is, I know I'm almost out of time here. We have a tiny house pop-up that makes a cute little house. And then you can start buying add-ons for it. We actually just came out with our 6th add-on, which is our beach bar tiny house add-ons. But you can make it a haunted house, a gingerbread house, there's a mushroom house, a school, dog house. This one's dog house. So the dog house. But then you can also, instead of building your tiny house over the fold in a diagonal position, which is the way you have to do it to have the card fold pop it up. But because we have that BAM box, you can do things like using BAM boxes inside of the tiny house. Here's a BAM box used in the usual position. And then there's 2 of them inside that house. And then it causes the house to pop up in a different way and off of the fold. So that's
Do you have an engineering degree?
I do have an engineering degree. Funny you should ask. Civil engineering, actually. So,
oh my gosh, because I don't know how anyone that doesn't have a degree be able to figure out all of that.
They're fun. Yeah. And actually it's so funny because, people are very impressed with the pop-ups and the way they work. And I mean, those are impressive, but because I have an engineering degree instead of say an art degree, I find it takes me a lot longer to draw that little crab right there than it does for me, usually to do a whole pop-up, like, oh great, the pop-up's done. Oh, I gotta do decorator dies,
Yeah.
So it's funny. This is our newest release. Now the new release, because it just came out last week, is not included in your 20% off all dies, but everything we use today is. There's just 6 new dies in our February release, and those are not included in the 20% off, but everything else is. And you just have to use code POPUP20 on KarenBurniston.com. You just got today through the weekend. So,
yep, 48 hours.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
That's that new beach bar tiny house add-on. So you can turn that tiny house. You start with the tiny house as your foundation die, and then you get the beach bar, and it adds the thatched roof and the little bar cutouts and the drinks and the palm trees. And then we have new beach borders. That's in the new release. We have a new greeting set where you can make it say every hour is happy hour at the beach. And then another new in our new stuff is 2 more sea charms. So those are in the new release. They have the crab and the jellyfish and the 2 shells cute. And the seahorse. And then this new pop-up is our little twist panel. So we had a previous twist panel that you can still get that makes a bigger twist panel that fits an A2 size card. But because slim lines have become so popular, we wanted to kind of shrink that down and give you an option for doing them in slim lines. So now we have the new little twist panel. And you can see the difference in size there. And that way you can fit 1 or 2 in a regular slimline card. So those are our new dice. So how did I do? Oh, wait, we're over. So
you're over, but that's all right. All right. So let's go ahead and let's do our giveaway. All right. So Karen has most graciously given us exactly what she used today in her demonstration as our giveaway. So I'm super excited about this. And I know you guys are going to be excited because I get tickled every time you come on and I see all the cool things that you make. It's just amazing. All right, let me see in the chat who is ready to win that. And let me see you light up our chat box with all the cool little emojis. All right, the winner of this one is going to go to Jennifer. Jennifer's last name starts with a J and ends with an N. So we will be emailing you when? Monday. Do not email us this weekend because we will not be responding to those emails. It never fails. As soon as we get done, we get emails in our inbox asking about, did I win? Did I win?
Well, people are excited, so that's
They
good.
are for sure. All right, you guys, we are going to say goodbye for now, and make sure to check out the schedule because we've got lots of speaker live streams this afternoon, and then we're going to be back at it this evening at 7 o'clock, I think. Yes, I'll be doing some more updates and giveaways. Take care, you guys. Bye-bye.